I am Sophia. I always thought my dad and I were unbreakable. After mom died, it was just us, figuring out how to live in a world without her. Then came Vanessa. At first, I wanted to like her dash, I really did. She seemed sweet, always smiling and saying the right things. But it didn't take long to see through the act. Vanessa's true colors showed when dad wasn't around. She would make snide comments, criticize everything I did, and twist every situation to make me look bad. The worst part, question mark. Dad believed her every time. He would look at me, disappointment in his eyes, and I could feel the distance growing between us. One afternoon, I was up in the attic, looking for an old photo album. That is when I found it, a dusty box marked Mom's memories. I was not sure I was ready to open it, but something told me I had to. Inside were letters, old photos, and a journal my mom had kept. As I flipped through the pages, my heart sank. Mom had written about Vanessa, about how she had suspected Vanessa and Dad had been involved even before their divorce, about the strange phone calls and the nights Dad would come home late. It wasn't just suspicion. Mom had confronted Dad, but he had brushed it off, insisting Vanessa was just a friend. I felt sick. Vanessa hadn't just waltzed into our lives after Mom's death. She'd been a shadow in the background, waiting for her chance. I couldn't let her get away with it. For weeks, I played the game. I smiled at Vanessa, pretended to listen to her advice, and even laughed at her fake stories. All the while, I recorded every cruel thing she said when Dad was not around. I went through her emails and texts when she left her phone unattended. What I found made my blood boil. She was still the same manipulative woman, lying to Dad, belittling him behind his back, and scheming to take full control of our family's finances. The night of Dad's birthday dinner, I decided it was time. I invited a few close family friends over, the ones who had always loved Mom and saw through Vanessa's facade. After the cake, I stood up, my hands shaking but my voice steady. Dad, there's something you need to see. I played the recordings, every venomous word Vanessa had spoken about him, about me, and even about Mom. I laid out the emails and texts I had found. The room was silent except for Vanessa's sputtering excuses. Dad didn't say much that night, but I could see the betrayal in his eyes. It wasn't just me she had fooled, it was him too. Vanessa moved out a week later. Dad and I are still healing, but for the first time in years, it feels like it is just us again. I do not regret what I did. Sometimes revenge isn't about getting even, it is about making sure the truth sees the light. What do you think?